Wondering how you can give back to your local community, the community that's given so much to you? Well, I'm joined by Lynne Kelleher this morning out of Newtown, Pennsylvania. We're going to talk about this simple process she's done that is adding so much value back that is easy for you to implement in your community as well. All right. Well, Lynne, I am really excited to get the opportunity now. After you first shared this with me, which I really appreciate, I was just amazed at the simplicity and with the ability that you've been able to raise so much money for your local community. And I really want to kind of break this down on how this idea got started, because, when we're talking about 100 women who care, it doesn't necessarily start that way. So let's go back and let's start of how did you originally come up with this idea to support your community?
Well, I had gone to a meeting with my sister in a neighboring county and sat in on 100 women who care at this Chester County. And when I was there, I thought to myself, this is brilliant. I can do this, because I've always been a believer in you need to support the community that supports you. And I've been involved in the charity auction that our board ran. I ran that for years and years and years, and it was so much work. So when I saw this concept, I thought, this is brilliant. I can do it, and I can have an impact, and it won't consume me. So the way that the group works is that you gather hopefully 100 women who will agree, or people, or men, whatever you want to do. Gather 100 people, 100 women who will agree to meet 4 times a year for 1 hour and donate $100. At that meeting, you hear from 3 different local charities. The only rule is that the money must stay in my county and they must be a 501c3. Those are the only rules. The charities that we hear from have been nominated by women in the group. So we throw all the names in the hat. Whoever wants to nominate, we pull 3 names out of the hat. Those 3 people present at the next meeting. At the end of the hour, and it is an hour, they all have 5 minutes to talk. Question and answer. We vote. The top vote getter gets all the money. Then we put the names in the hat. We nominate for the next meeting. So when I first started, my first meeting, I had 35 women, and they were all my center of influence, a couple other agents, past clients. I started with 35 women. That was in 2014. Now I have 250 women. So in 1 hour, I donate $25,000 or $100,000 a year to my local community. And I do it in 4 hours a year. It's brilliant. And the way that I got to the 250 women is my center of influence. And my center of influence then continues to grow, because then those 35 women started bringing people, got a little bit of press, and it just has kind of snowballed. That now I have one of the largest groups in the country. So it's just, and I think the thing that's so brilliant about it is, we were talking about this. When I used to run the charity auction for our board of realtors, it was so much work. It was so much work. And I never raised what I raise in 1 hour. And anybody can do it. So, that's kind of my story. And when I had heard one of your previous podcasts about people getting involved in their community, again, I feel strongly that you support the community that supports you. But this is a way to get involved in your community and really make a difference, because my $100 in isolation doesn't really have a tremendous amount of impact. Not that you want to belittle that. You put my $100 with 250 other women's $100, and man, we are making a difference. So that's how it works.
Yeah, Lynn, this is so good. I want to get super practical because I'll guarantee you somebody's listening to this now saying, listen, I may not be able to do 250. I may not even be able to do 100. But boy, if I had 10 people that did this, it's $1,000 that I could donate. So let's talk about kind of the organization. Do you keep an email list of this? What does the meeting look like exactly? Like breakdown of times, and then how exactly you do the follow-up afterwards as far as the three that you're going to choose for the next time to invite them to that, if you don't mind.
So everybody's, I have an email list, that I send out meeting reminder notices to. You have the option to either attend the meeting, which is now held at a country club in my community that lets us use the room for free. I pay for the bartender because I feel like, we don't ever have it in a church basement. It's got to be a place that serves alcohol. Sorry, but if I'm going out on a Monday or a Tuesday night, I want a glass of wine, and so do my ladies. So no church basements. It's held at a local place. When we first started, it was at a restaurant. And then we grew and we grew and we grew that now a restaurant can't hold us. But I send out the meeting reminders. You can either attend on Zoom or in person. That took a little bit of figuring out, but you go to the meeting, everybody comes a little bit early, they check in, they get a drink at the bar, they sit down, bam, I have some announcements. So I don't know, 5 minutes of announcements, whatever. The three different people have their 5 minutes to talk, little question and answer period. After that, we tally the votes, and the ladies that are in attendance write their checks directly to the charity. So I don't have to monitor the money. I don't have to be a 501c3. The money doesn't flow through me. I also have partnered with a group that provides online payments. At the end of the meeting, if you're not there, I send you out an email and say, ladies, send me my check, send me your checks. I track who's paid. The checks go off to the charity. So it's not a tremendous amount of work for me. The biggest work for me is chasing people for the money. Right. There's always a few stragglers. But what's brilliant about it is it's so simple. It's not a lot of work for me. It's not a huge commitment. There's so many people I think that want to give back to their communities, and especially in our business, you don't have the time, you don't have a big time commitment that you can make. But everybody's got 4 hours a year, and most of us have $100 a quarter. Mm-hmm. So, that's why it works. It's not a lot of work for me, not a lot of work for you. We make a huge impact on our community. So, and I guess the thing that really has helped in terms of my business is that it gives me the opportunity to put myself out there and contact my center of influence, and so that they see me in another way, not just Lynn the realtor, but Lynn of generous heart. And when I contact people, it's not like, hey, got a deal? Who wants to sell? Who wants to buy? It's not about that. It's about presenting me in a more rounded way, so I'm still front and center without being in their face about real estate. And it really has, I've gotten a lot of press about it. It's given me a certain amount of notoriety because I'm in front of the 75 or 85 or sometimes 100 people that are in attendance and another 40 or 50 that are on Zoom. It's my email signature that's going out with the reminder notices. So it's a way to expand your center of influence by doing really good things for your community. So,
yeah. Lynn, this is such a win-win. I mean, this is a win-win.
It is.
I know as we were talking, with you with over 30 years experience, the community has just been so good to you. It'd be hard to give back as much as it's given to you. But this is a great, simple way to do that, where you're getting exposure for those three different charities as well. And so tell me real quick, though, you mentioned getting the money after the fact. So in order for them to be a part of the group, they have to make the commitment that they're going to give the $400 for the year, once $100 each quarter, correct?
Right. So, they sign a commitment form that says that they're committing for a year. because I don't want somebody to sign up, have their charity win, and then abscond. Now, can I hold it to them? No. Have I ever had a problem? No. And I always tell people, look, you're in until you tell me you're out. So because I'm not going to track, oh, it's time for you to renew. No, you're in till you're out. The whole thing. And every once in a while, people will say to me, I don't like that charity, or I can't commit. I'm like,
Fine.
it will work its way out through the democratic process. If you have concerns about a charity, people wanted me to make rules. No rules. The whole thing is to keep it as simple as possible. And it has worked, I guess another thing that I would say to people is, even if you're saying, hey, I'm not interested in starting that. And for anybody that is, I'm an open book. The people in Chester County gave me all their stuff. I've helped 2 other groups get started. It's that whole pay it forward thing. But, even if you're not saying, this is like just beyond me, get involved with another charity and then say, like so many people that are in my group are other agents. And what they do is they then promote my group to their center of influence so that they look good. And then they say, hey, look, like I had one friend that's an agent, a competitor that joined and said to her center of influence, meet me beforehand and the first round of drinks is on me. And then let's go to this. So my group wins. They win. Their people feel like they're a part of something. And all it takes is for somebody to come one time to my meeting and they're in because it's so fabulous.
It really is.
So, I have another group that another agent that invited to your thing, 10 friends went out for lunch. I'd done this with a group of people, 10 clients, and I went out for lunch at a place where we knew the waitress was struggling. I said, come, we're leaving a really obnoxious tip. When we got there, I bought their lunch and said, all right, I'm buying your lunch, but you still owe for your lunch, plus your obnoxious tip. We left the waitress $900. Just that. Hey, we did good, and it endears me to them.
Right. That's exactly right.
So there's no way to lose.
Yeah.
To get involved in your community in some way.
Yeah, this is such good stuff, Lynne, and I appreciate your willingness to help people. Listen, whether you have got a referral to send to Newtown, Pennsylvania, or you'd like to start one of these in your local market, Lynne, how can they reach out to you to get additional information or send those referrals your way?
They can send me an email to lynne@lynnekelleher.com. It's LYNNE. At Lynne Kelleher, KELLEHER.com, Lynne Kelleher. They can call my cell, 215-813-6655. I am happy to help you get started because it's fabulous.
Lynne, this is what this is all about. We always talk about this, that we're all better together. This is a perfect example of sharing an idea that I know is going to impact a number of communities throughout the country. So thank you for your willingness to share. I hope this has been helpful to you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. I specifically chose the video below for you because it builds on the one you just watched. I hope it's helpful, and I'll talk to you soon.